Welcome back to the Now Morning Show. I am Kimberly D'Souza. It is Monday morning, and we've been talking about, some of the programs that the ministry has to offer, and now we're switching gears a bit as we go to the TTPS to see exactly what kind of initiatives they have, how the crime stats are looking, because people are always concerned about that. And so with me, I have acting ASP actually, Sheridon Hill, who would share some crime stats, and of course, we're moving beyond the numbers.
That is correct.
He's going to talk to us about some of the initiatives we're having. So first of all, good morning, acting ASP. Thank you so much for joining us.
Morning to the listening and viewing public, and thank you for having me on your program this morning.
Well, we should say thank you for having you back, because you shared that you used to be on the program a few years ago.
That is correct, around 2018 with Lisa and Rishi and Carrie and so on.
Nice. So you're back in your element.
Exactly. I cut my teeth right here.
Very nice. Well, I mean, ASP Hill, let's just start off. I mean, one of the things that we're very concerned about, I guess, is the crime rate. I think that's one of the things that people use a lot to gauge exactly how the police service is doing their job. We're only 3 months into the new year. Have we seen an increase when compared to last year, let's say?
Okay. So the first thing I want to say is that we don't run after headlines. We look at trends. So if there are 3 murders in 1 day, 10 murders in 2 days, we don't react. Now, of course, it's of concern to us, and especially where murders are concerned, we extend our condolences to the family members and so on. And it's something that we are concerned about. But we look at trends over a period of time, over a 1 month period, over a 12-month period, and that's what we look at. We don't say that the murder rate has spiked because we have 3 murders in 2 days or 7 murders. Not that it's not important, but we look at trends.
Right. And so what have the trends for this year been telling us thus far?
Okay. So the first 2 months of the year, we had, 90-something murders.
Right.
And when we look at what happened last year, where we had just 50-something murders, everybody was saying that, crime has skyrocketed and it's spiraling out of control. All these adjectives we're hearing. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the crime statistics, now murders constitute one category of serious crimes. So when we look at the murders, the crime statistics, serious crime statistics, for the comparative period, last year and this year, we see that it's 1,500 serious crimes committed in this period, and we had over 2,000 serious crimes committed last year. And that's why it's important to conduct proper analysis, get your data from the correct source, and then conduct your analysis. Don't just run after, what someone said in the media. And as I'm on that, I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago that we have a unit called the Crime and Problem Analysis Branch, which is where we have our data. That's the unit responsible for collecting data. We have a website, and people can get their information from that website. If they need more granular, disaggregated data, you can always write the problem analysis, the Crime and Problem Analysis Branch, and get your data from there, not from the media.
Mr. Hill, you are on a media program, and I find you a little kind of, you're swaying kind of negative. And you cut your teeth here in the media as well, so I'm very surprised,
no, you see,
Hill.
At times, I'm not saying that it's not always inaccurate, but sometimes people give views, they give opinions. Everybody has an opinion. What is that opinion based on? I remember in 2008, we recorded 550 murders. And all over the media, they were saying that Trinidad and Tobago is the murder capital of the Caribbean. And there's an article out there, a solid article, that shows that when you look at Trinidad and Tobago in 2008, and you look at other Caribbean countries, there are countries with higher increases year on year, higher total numbers, higher percentages, and so on. So it's important to get your data from the most reliable source, then conduct a proper analysis rather than running off with what you hear someone say. Now, in this country, we have a lot of educated and qualified and so on persons, but they may not have the most accurate data. And a lot of people operate on hunches and gut feeling. Mm-hmm. That's not what we do. in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service.
Okay.
So, ASP Hill, as you're speaking here, of course, about the crime and problem analysis branch as well. We hear you, and it's great that we now have access to information. We know where to go, because that's something we need, as a society. And as you said, getting access to the correct data, that is key. But one of the questions that we do want to ask, with murder in Trinidad and Tobago right now, what is being put in place, or what's the response of the TTPS to this? Because you're analyzing the trends, you've seen, okay, what's going on, you can, I would say, hopefully forecast what's going to happen. So what strategies are being put in place?
Okay, so our murders are categorized into a number of different, what we call probable causes. So when we look at murders, we see a large percentage of the murders are what we call gang-related. Then we have a number, we're seeing an emerging trend with domestic disputes, altercations, intimate partner violence. So if most of the murders are gang-related, then we have to focus our energies there. The other thing is approximately 75% of the murders are committed using firearms. So we focus a lot of energy there. So we recovered, every year we recover over, and shouldn't say recover, we seize or we find, because recover suggests that people are there who went and get it. So we seize or we find hundreds of firearms each year.
Wow.
We also, in many instances, we charge persons for those illegal firearms and ammunition. So there's a heavy focus on taking firearms off the street. Obviously, it's a no-brainer. If most of your murders are committed using firearms and you take the firearms off the street, I mean, intuitively, that will contribute to a reduction. The other thing is a large percentage of the murders are gang-related. So we focus our energies on gangs. We have a gang legislation. We have a gang unit within the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. But solving gang-related murders is proving to be a challenge. So within recent times, a program where the acronym is called GRACE, Gang Reduction and Community Enhancement. That's been approved by the government of the United States. So we're going to be getting technical assistance from the US to deal with the gang issue. We also have a more collaborative approach. So it's not just the gang unit dealing with gangs. The gang unit is collaborating closely with the Financial Investigation Bureau, the Criminal Intelligence Bureau, working collaboratively, because we see that gang crimes are not limited to just one particular type of crime, one issue. So we see gang crimes involving narcotics. We see gang crimes involving white-collar crime, trafficking in persons. In fact, recently we charged someone for a gang-related offense as a result of a trafficking in person investigation. So we're working collaboratively on the gang issue, and we're also soon to get technical assistance to respond to the gang issue, in addition to the legislation. Now, when you look at murders, you see a number of murders. There's a growing trend of altercations and domestic disputes. So what we've done is we've partnered with a number of private attorneys to provide free legal advice to assist people to resolve their disputes the legal way. So a number of attorneys, in addition to the legal aid clinic and the law school, we are also partnering with attorneys. It's called the Community Justice Project, where we go to selected communities, and working with those attorneys, we provide free legal advice. We also see that a number of murders are as a result of intimate partner relationships. So recently, we've recently established a special victims department focusing on not just children, the child protection unit, but gender-based violence, intimate partner violence. And we've sent some of our senior officers to the NYPD to observe, to learn from them, so we can incorporate some best practices here.
Now, ASP Hill, you keep mentioning that you know there are a lot of gang-related incidents, and we're talking about all these units. But what about the social aspect to these gang-related units? I mean, it's to me, I think it's an open secret where these gangs, when they inculcate these young men, they offer things that their family can't. So how is the ministry actually targeting that aspect in terms of getting these gangs off the street, or even stopping these gangs from bringing these younger ones into the circle?
And I'm happy that you asked that, because we have a police youth club initiative which is very active. We've produced some model citizens across the landscape of the country, especially in some areas that you hear mentioned in the media in a particular way, such as the East Port of Spain, in the Beetham area, in Laventille. We've produced some model citizens. Not just the police youth club, but we have the Hearts and Mind project. We also have the Beetham Vibration Steel Orchestra
that you launched recently. Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
Precisely. So it's not just about the hardcore, suppressive, kick down the door, search, and so on. There's the softer side. So we engage in the community on many fronts. We're going to resume our town meetings. We have station council meetings and so on. And I also want to say that we've been advising members of the public about crime prevention through environmental design. So if we see an area where there are overgrown bushes, we see an area where it's not well lit, and when we look at what's happening in that area, we contact the councillors, we contact TNTech. So we work on the street lights. We get the regional corporation to come in, clean the drains, cut the overgrown bushes, and we also do things like get owners of derelict vehicles to remove them off the streets and so on. So it's not just the hardcore suppressive police interventions. So I'm happy that you asked that question.
No problem.
ASP Hill, one of the things I wanted to ask, just want to take you back to a few moments ago. You were chatting, and I noticed there was a lot of mention of collaborative efforts with international bodies as well, and regions outside of Trinidad and Tobago. So what exactly is the TTPS doing when it comes to collaborating with other organizations, with other police services around the world?
So we constantly receive advice, technical assistance, a plethora of training, from various international bodies. Constantly, in fact, as we speak, Acting Deputy Commissioner Williams is abroad. And we have officers constantly, going abroad, partnering with other law enforcement agencies. We receive training regularly from the FBI, and within the region, the Regional Police Training School in Jamaica, Junior Command, Senior Command courses. So, and then we are a member of the Association of Caribbean Commissioners of Police. We're also a member of CARICOM, so the Regional Intelligence Fusion Center, the Joint Regional Command Center. We are integrated in that system.
So, I mean, I'm not sure, but the few minutes we have left, ASP, I wanted to tackle the issue of road accidents. We're seeing a lot of road accidents now. I mean, one of the unfortunate things is that one of the WPCs was actually injured while she was actually responding to an accident. I mean, how are the stats looking now? I mean, you were talking about trends, right?
Okay.
How are the stats looking now? I mean, anything you can tell to John public, to not make them be as reckless as they are being on the roads right now?
Well, all right, so in 2015, we had the lowest number of fatal accidents and fatalities in 20 years. I can get the figure for you and provide it, but I know last year we went much lower than that. So we are tackling the road traffic accident issue in an aggressive manner. So we're looking at hotspots. We're out there patrolling. We have implemented the speed gun. We have the iRoad Safe program. So we are constantly out there, and then with the recent traffic management system, it's
the merit points when they save points off your card, of course.
So we always warn persons to be responsible when you're on the road. Don't drink and drive. Obey the speed limits, and there are a number of other things. You're driving, focus on the road. Don't talk on your cell phones. All these general basic tips that can save not just your life, but the lives of other persons.
Yeah. Acting ASP Hill, thank you so much for joining us. I was happy to have you back in the chair once again.
I look forward to returning.
We will see you
I look forward to returning.
And that was ASP Hill, just giving us a little bit about the crime initiatives. I believe we have open forum next, so stay tuned with us. You're on the Now Morning Show. We're going to be right back.